men limit themselves, especially by obsessing and putting so much pressure on erection and when they should come and making sure that she comes, but like not even understanding if she's feeling pleasure, just like wanting her to reach
Right.
an orgasm so bad so they could prove something
Right.
to themselves,
Like
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more about proving to himself than it is about actually feeling good with her and like enjoying it.
Welcome to the Body Joy After Office Hours podcast, where I talk with Stephanie Ganowski, who is a sexologist and sex coach for men. She helps men have more, hotter sex by teaching them how to let go of performance pressure. Stephanie and I met last year in a leadership academy program, and it's been super fun to see how our businesses and approaches overlap. And they're also super different. We talk about porn use and as it pertains to men's sexual life. We also did a little deep dive on each of our experiences in the play party scene. I hope y'all enjoy. Stephanie Ganowski, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Melissa. I'm excited
You
to
know,
talk to you.
Yay. I love inviting friends and people onto this podcast to kind of geek out about what we're passionate about, what we're really good at, and our different ways of supporting people. And you, similar to my work, you support men specifically being better in bed. You just launched a app, which is really exciting. And I want to go back to how we met.
Yes. Yes. Definitely tell her we met.
Yeah, so generally speaking, when I go into public spaces, I'm usually the only one that works
Mm.
in and around sex, generally speaking. And so you and I met last January. We were in a leadership academy. And I remember just hearing some of the exercises that we're doing. And I was like, wait a minute, she does similar stuff as I do. This is exciting. And it took us a little bit to kind of get together and chat and get to know each other. But that really intrigued me. And the main difference between you and I, or our approaches, is that, we just come from totally different lenses. And I think that's just the
Mhm.
coolest thing. And I remember watching some of your videos and going, I really like you a lot because of how like direct and just very like focused. You're not like whimsical. You're just like, boom. And I'm sure the story that I'm making up is that men really appreciate that approach, especially when they come to you and they want to work with like an elite coach and they want to like get down to like, all right, just show me what to do and give me the steps and let's go.
Yes. Yes. That's like the main feedback I get is like, you're direct. Like,
Yeah, I love that. So Stephanie, but you haven't always been in this field. What were you doing, 10, 15 years ago? And what was the impetus of you getting into the work that you're doing now?
yeah, I was working 5 jobs at one time when I was 24, and I knew I wanted the freedom, so I would pick up jobs that I could control my schedule around. And I was just like free bird that was passionate about like life and like wanting to find my thing, and I didn't know what my thing was. Until I was in this really, really just horrible relationship and I didn't understand it. And I was living with this guy for 2 years and he was much older than me and he didn't show any sense of real connection to me. And here I was just like questioning, like, why isn't he loving? Like, don't I deserve that? And like, he never calls me beautiful. And I think I'm like really pretty. And, I'll like say things to him and he'll be like, yeah, well, you could never do that. Like, you're not smart enough for that. Or even
Wow.
like, you're going to eat that. And I was like in the best shape of my life. So there was just a lot of like confusion around the way I was being treated in this relationship. And it led me to get really angry at men like in general because I dated some guys like after this guy and I was just like frustrated, right? So I was at this point where I was like, screw men, like they're all dicks, like they're all pigs, they're
Wow.
assholes. And I had this like really negative view of them. But it didn't last that long because I got to this place where I had been reading a lot and
What were some of the books that you were reading that you were drawn to at that time?
honestly like psychology books, like just teaching me about like my mindset and like understanding different perspectives and what it can do for you to see things other ways and have empathy for people and compassion. And I was like, you know what? I wanna understand men. Like, that's the problem is I don't understand them. I didn't understand this relationship. I know it's bad. I know it was bad, but let me understand men a little bit more so I don't, like, carry this anger because it's not all guys. I know all guys aren't horrible. So, like, I don't wanna hold on to this, like, "Fuck men," like, mentality.
Yeah. Was there a certain, like, was there also just like a certain pattern or certain flavor of like archetype that you were kind of dating, or was there a pattern in and around that time frame?
Honestly, it was all different types of guys. Like, I dated a good variety, and a bunch of them just I did not like how they treated me or how the relationship went, right? So I had to, like, come from this place of, "Okay, well, I'm in the relationship too," right? There's obviously something I can learn. There's something I'm not understanding. Maybe I can learn how to communicate better. Maybe I can learn how to see things from a male point of view better so I understand why. And I jumped into this highly curious mindset that brought me to Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that book from the '90s that, like, was huge.
Old school. Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, this is interesting." And, like, I knew it was
Uh-huh.
old school, but still it explained so much for me, like, so
Mhm.
many things clicked. And at the end of the book, it was like, "Take this program with us and you'll become a relationship coach and we could train you." And, we go through this whole course. It was like a 6-month experience. And so I did it. And then I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." And, like, I'm learning so much and now I get it. Like, I get why guys come from that place because they're insecure about this and, like, my best reaction to this could be saying something like this or asking this question or like and it was just so much came together for me where I just let go of all the resentment and I got even more curious and excited to like learn about men. So I was like, okay, I'm going to decide to work with only men and I'm going to go in with the mindset of like really wanting to understand them and support them and like find a way to help them. Um and then yeah, that's what I did and then 2 years later I was getting doing this full time. I was getting so many questions about like okay, well, can you help me now with my erections? Or what about
Wow.
premature ejaculation? Like, can you help with
Yeah.
that? And I don't know how to talk to my women about sex. Like, can you help me? And I was like, I don't know this. Like, what do I do? So I like found this course, this online sex course, or sex school. And it was like a 15-month school. And I finished it in like 5 months because I was so into it. It was the coolest thing I've ever done in my like, it was so fun and so interesting. I was so passionate about it. My teachers were like, "Stephanie, slow down. We want you to retain the info." And I was just
And
sending
you're
out the
like,
reports like the same night. I'm like, "I love this."
awesome. Awesome. What were some of the more shocking things that you were learning in that course? Going from understanding the psychology of men, generally speaking, into like focusing just on sex. Do you remember some of those earlier ahas that you were having?
That's a great question. I mean, I think the biggest aha was how common psychology creates physical issues for men, like how much
Yeah.
anxiety and the thought patterns, and yeah, just like having one mindset too around what they believe sex should be and how they
Mhm.
define it. And so much about the language of like, how are you, when you think of successful sex, what do you think about? And men will immediately, like most men I talk to, will immediately be like, well, I stay hard, I last as long as I want, and we
Forever.
both orgasm. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, that's it? Like, that's successful. What about everything else? And it's just, there's so much to it. Like,
Mhm.
there's so much that goes into a fulfilling sex life. And men limit themselves, especially by obsessing and putting so much pressure on erection and when they should come and making sure that she comes. But like, not even understanding if she's feeling pleasure, just, like, wanting her to reach
Right.
an orgasm so bad so they could prove something
Right.
to themselves,
Like
right?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's more about
Mhm.
proving to himself than it is about actually feeling good with her and, like, enjoying it. So the whole psychology part of it was really interesting, and even, like, having physical practices that I could teach men and teach my clients to help them move through these challenges and really starting to believe, like, "Whoa, like, there's so many guys struggling with this, but, like, look at all these solutions," Like, they're not stuck in these patterns, like, they don't have to be. It's just about finding the solution that works for them.
Yeah.
So it was cool. We also had to
Amazing.
watch a lot of different porns in the school, to understand different people's fetishes and fantasies. So that was kind of like the shocker for me because I was like, "I don't wanna watch all these."
Yeah, especially what I in some of my training too, we did the same thing. We just, I went to SFSI in San Francisco, which was, started by nurses in the 70s. And part of the curriculum was really understanding, not to yuck at other people's yum and understand
Yeah.
like, here's the palette or here's like the variety of things that people are in. And I caught myself a couple times going, really? But again, I had to like stay neutral just so I could understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "That's great for them, but I don't wanna watch it."
I love this for you. And I'm like, no. Awesome. Yeah. Wonderful. So, yeah, you went from I love that you did that program. I didn't realize that Men Are From Venus
Men Are From Mars.
did like a yeah, Men Are From Mars did an actual program. I saw like the deck that he had a while back and some other things kind of come across my feed, but that's so cool. And then jumping from that into like supporting people sexually. And why do you think that you chose men? Were you ever open to working with women? Was there ever, a moment that came up saying that you might want to broaden it, or like what was your process there?
I mean, it was really, like, to understand them because I was so confused as to why I was so frustrated with them. Like, I didn't actually understand why. So I was like, I want to learn about them. So part of it was like experimentation for my own selfish needs. And then part of it was also realizing, like, wow, at the time, like, it was kind of hard to come across a relationship coach for men on social media. Like, I saw so many that were either for men and women or just for women.
Right.
And I was like, where are the people like just helping men with sex? Like, cause there's so many women complaining that men can't find the G spot, that men don't know how to have great sex. And I saw a lot more complaints than I saw people helping them. So I'm like,
Right.
who's helping them then? Like, we're all complaining.
Yeah.
Who's going to help them? And like actually cheer for them, like, like lift them
Not
up,
shame
like
them.
empower
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So now most of your clients, from what I understand, you see online, right?
Yeah. All of them. Yeah.
That's so convenient. So anybody from all over the world can kind of tune in. What are some of I would say, the top three things that men come to you for right now?
Um, Having trouble staying hard. It's definitely a top three. Delayed
Now,
ejaculation.
so within I might jump around a little bit. So within the men that are reaching out to you for just staying erect, what's the age range, would you say?
Um, I'd say the age range it's funny because like 2 years ago, I would get a lot of clients in their 20s, with erection issues. But
Yep.
recently it's been more guys in their, um, probably like 30s to yeah, 35 to like 60 is the average, is the age span.
Yeah. I wonder if
Mhm.
that's because more older men are getting more information from social media now instead of like this. I mean, that's the story again that I'm just kind of making up. Cause yeah, a couple of years ago, I just imagine younger guys were kind of on YouTube or on Facebook or, on the socials. And there's just a bigger presence now, at least that I'm noticing in my circles too.
Yeah, my clients are much older, like, today than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah. And so, yeah, delayed ejaculation. So being able to hold pleasure in their bodies and having an erection, stick around. And then what would you say would be the third thing?
The third thing is just lack of communication skills with their
Mhm.
partner. So
Yeah.
not knowing how to talk about sex, feeling unfulfilled, feeling undesirable, and not knowing what to do about it. Like feeling like I am not happy in this relationship or we're both not happy in this situation and like something needs to change. So what do we do?
Yeah. What do you think is one of the causes for that, being fulfilled, being in this relationship kind of, yeah, what are you seeing in that?
Lack of vulnerability every
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
They're just not they're making decisions emotionally, like reacting to each other just based on emotion, which is frustration and disappointment and insecurity instead of being like, "Hey, I need information here. Let me ask a question or let me
Yeah.
share what I'm really concerned about and then see what her thoughts are." Like
Right.
I was just talking to a client of mine yesterday and he was like, "What's wrong with me? Like, why can't I why am I not like, why am I struggling with this thing?" And I was like, "There's nothing wrong with you. You just never learned the skill of being vulnerable." Like he's a very highly intellectual guy. And so he tries to make decisions fast. And if there's an emotional decision where he fears hurting her feelings, he would rather break up with her And like he's leaning more on the side of breaking up than like talking to her and telling her exactly what he's concerned about and asking her what she thinks and how they can work on it together to see if they have a shot.
Yeah, it's so vital to like give clients this, even if it's pretend, even if it's a dress rehearsal script on like, here's how
Mhm.
you open up the conversation. And it seems so basic, but it's really profound, giving them a kind of a framework to just share what's actually going on. I find that a lot of people, unless you go into like, self-help and have a really badass therapist and you're actually actively doing it, we're not used to having these kind of conversations, and so everyone's
Yeah.
triggered and no one's really sharing and there's no framework, so there's
And
like,
then when they do talk, it just comes out really bad because I
yeah,
said
it's
to my
not
client
getting anywhere. Yeah.
yeah. I said to my client, I was like, "Let's role play. I want you to tell me what you think, if you were coming from a place of security and vulnerability
Yeah.
and you were like you were also wanting her to feel love from you, like, what would that sound like? Like, you tell me and then we could practice." And what he said to me was just like, "Oh boy, no." Like, that would not work.
Anything but that. I will die.
Yeah, it's
Death.
okay. Let's do it over. Let me help you like frame it and then I'm going to say it. I want you to pay attention to my tone, the type of words I use, and I'll give you a 3-step framework. So that's what we did. And then he practiced again the way that I taught him. Then he was like, wow, yeah, that's very different. So we're actually able to role play and practice. And then he now can go in and have a conversation with her. And I tell my clients all the time too, I'm like, take notes and literally bring it to the conversation. Like me and my boyfriend, like,
That's hot.
Andrew, no, seriously, like if it's like a in-depth if there's a lot of detail, right? And it's really important to you and you have like 3 points that you want to address that are like really getting in the way of your sex life, like you don't want to forget anything, right? And you don't want to like just get emotional and then all of a sudden start yelling or like start defending yourself, right? So if you have like a bullet point list on your phone of like 3 points, like mention this, mention this, mention this. And you just look at your phone, tell your partner, like, hey, I got my phone. I have some notes just so that I don't forget what I want to say because it's really important. And let's just talk about this and brainstorm it together. No, you make it
Yeah.
more casual. Like, it doesn't have to be this heavy, weird thing. You could just be like, hey,
Yeah.
like, this is important. So let's sit and talk. Here are the points I have. What do you think? What should we do about this? I was thinking this. What do you think? What do you think would work?
I think it's beautiful. Some of my favorite, I guess, friends that inspire me the most in their relationships is they actually have a check-in that happens at least once a week, maybe every other week, and it's like time set aside. So it's not so much about bringing something only when shit's not working, but like, hey, let's just look under the hood and let's talk about things. And if we have notes, cool. If we don't, or if one of us does, and it's kind of built in to the system, and then it's like this sweet maintenance that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the problem, like, so many couples get in the habit of only talking about sex when something's breaking, like, going
Right.
wrong, and then you
Yeah.
connect sex to stress and, like, tension and bad conversations that you don't wanna have, and or things not working.
Yeah.
A format that Andrew and I use is for check-ins is number 1, the first part of the framework is what's going well lately, like what are we both happy about our own lives and like our lives with each other, so we're like
Mhm.
acknowledging ourselves as individuals and also our relationship. And then number 2 is, yeah, are there any concerns we want to address to each other that we could help each other out with? And then the third is what have we been grateful for, like what's been working, like what are we most grateful for that's been working well in the relationship. So
Mm, I love that. You
so
two
there's
are
the
so
2 good
cute.
ones.
That's so cute. Yeah. So going back to, the reliable erections is probably one of the most common things that I support people with too. Reliable erections, stress, all of that. What are some of your ways of working with someone around that? And I also, you work with people like in a 6-month container, is that right? There's like,
3 months.
3 month. Okay, there's like an arc of working together. Yeah, what would that look like for somebody, for you to
So
support
my
somebody?
Yeah, so my process is 12 weeks. We talk like every other week. And in between, on the first session, we create a personalized plan for them with 3 goals that we set out for what they want to experience throughout the 12 weeks and where they want to be. So every time we talk, we make sure that we rate the goals so that they're moving up. And there's a
I bet
number.
men love that. We're
We
gonna rate it.
do.
Yes.
Yeah, we rate it, we put a number on it, and then we have
I love
evidence
it.
to back up the number, right?
Yep.
So he can't just say, "Oh, I went from a 4 to a 6 this week," and have no reason why. Like, he
Right.
needs to give me some info there. So we share a lot of detail. I always tell my clients, like, it's like, as long as you're respectful about it, like, I want to know as much as possible, because
Yeah.
it only helps us get you to the point where you want to be. So we're very open communication. We have fun on our calls. And yeah, and then by the end of the call, I'm going to say, all right, your new focus points will be ready. And I'm going to email them over to you tomorrow. And then you'll work on those things for the next 2 weeks until we meet again.
Mhm.
So he gets action steps, right? He's working on those for 2 weeks, and then we get back on the call. He tells me how it went. We re-rate the goals, and then rinse and repeat.
What would
So,
you say are some of the most common, like, action steps that you give men?
the most common one is masturbation training.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, very pro masturbation for doing it in a way that, like, makes your sex life better, right?
Mhm.
So, I always tell so most guys, especially guys with ED, I would give them some kind of meditation or exercise. A meditation might look like a guided meditation of me guiding them through keeping their body relaxed, keeping their mind relaxed, helping them understand what turns them on mentally and like what type of touch works for them physically. I might encourage them to try a different type of touch. A lot of guys just jerk off the same way all the time and they don't realize there's so
Dry.
many different. Yeah, like there's so
As
many
dry and as fast as possible, and then they're
different.
like, "Oh, wait, I'm with a person now. We need to look at this."
Why am I
I'm
looking
always
at her?
shocked. I'm always shocked how many people are, like, "Wait, why do we wanna look at the way I masturbate?" And it's like,
Yeah.
this is
This is
everything.
important. It's probably the most important thing. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
so interesting to me how many guys are like, "Oh, I don't wanna masturbate because 'cause I'm in a relationship, but I wanna save it for her."
Really?
Yeah. Well, they're struggling with issues. And I'm like,
Okay.
I respect that, but we need to like, in order to work through this stuff, I want to encourage you to masturbate too. Both and.
I wonder too, and maybe you have some info on this. I've heard from some male clients that, their partner would either catch them or know that they masturbate and get kind of disappointed. Do you find that to be true in some of the people you work with?
Yeah, I find that to be true in cases where he is more reliant on porn and
Mm,
maybe he's not reaching orgasms with her. He's
gotcha.
not having sex as much as she wants, but he's jerking off to porn. Or some women end up not even wanting to have sex with him because she'll wake up in bed and see he's watching porn. And it's just like
Uh,
it feels like, oh, why didn't you haven't seduced me in a while, but like you're sitting here watching this. So it
yeah.
feels like she's not chosen, she's not desired, and then she gets resentful and then doesn't want to have it. Right. And then he's trying to control these urges and feels bad. And now there's all this guilt and the shame and he's still
Right.
like addicted to it. So he can't stop. And then she's getting more upset. And it's horrible feedback loop.
Yeah, it's a little loop there. Yeah, what's your take on pornography in general? Like where's your I'm always curious
Yeah,
how
I'm
people feel about it.
I'm not anti-porn. Like I'm not someone to say like everyone should stop watching porn or like all men should stop. I think that most men should probably stop because most men seem to struggle. Or at least most men, of course, I'm biased because the men who come to me are coming to me for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, but but I'll say, like, if you're struggling in your sex life and there's either connection issues with your partner or erection issues, DE especially is due to guys watching a lot of porn.
Yeah.
I find that's always a common connection. So yeah, like if it's not helping, if it's not adding anything to your sex life and it's taking away, I would I would slowly stop watching it. I tell guys like cut it and start by cutting it in half.
Mhm.
And then start replacing with mindful masturbation practices like Ronin, my sex meditations, um or like erotica, um or
And it's so fun to do with your partner. I mean, I'm all for like doing your own thing solo-y because that could be great. Solo-y, is that even a word? But having kind of a shared erotic experience, whether they're masturbating together or maybe they're reading
yeah.
each other erotica, so it feels like more of a collaborative, inclusive thing that they get to do together.
Yeah, I often tell clients that they should try mutual masturbation. And whenever they do it with their partner, it's always this fun new like, "Oh, we did
Yeah.
it, and it was really hot.
Ah!
We loved it."
Yeah. So many people get stuck in these ruts, and sometimes just giving them a little bit of inspo to do things differently can make all the difference.
Mhm. Plus
Yeah.
plus
Go
mutual
ahead.
masturbation, you can learn so much by, like, being right there, whether, like, you're
Yeah.
masturbating yourself and just next to your partner and you're just, like, observing each other, or you're doing it to each other and then, you can guide better, because I always say, like, start by doing it yourself and, like, let your partner observe you and then do each other. And it's just I think you learn the most that way because 'cause you're right there, like, you're paying attention.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What's your feelings about the NoFap craze that comes around every No Nut November?
I think it's ridiculous, and I have to start making content about this. It's so controversial, but I think it's
It's
just
so controversial. Yeah. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so dumb, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking like, okay, so I don't know, my take is like taking a break from things is always nice.
Yeah.
Like you're not drinking for the month of January or maybe you don't drink at all, but like taking a break and really like resting with anything. Food,
Mhm.
sex, the way you touch yourself, whatever is great. But I'm surprised at how big that movement is and what they focus on. I think often does a little bit more damage, at least with some of the clients that I've seen. It gets them all worked up and kind of pent up. And then when they do touch themselves or when they do express, then it's almost like they're starting over again. And I talked to a couple men, I'm like, you could actually continue touching yourself and just not too, or you can extend the experience and look at that and say like, okay, instead of masturbating in 5 minutes, maybe make it 20 or 30 in a more long form experience. Those are the habits that I'm more excited, supporting people in than just
Yeah.
resist everything and try not to nut. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like what you're saying, like, yeah, and it's good to always take breaks from things, and, like, if the message of NoFap was, "Hey, let's take a month break and see how your body does, and, like,
Right.
don't beat yourself up if you do it, like, just try your
Right.
best," and if it was supportive and encouraging in that way, but it's not. It's like, "Don't masturbate," and, like, "Masturbation's bad," and, like, "You should stop altogether because it's not like, it's ruining your life." And there's like all these messages that are like shaming men when
Right.
it comes to masturbation. And then, of course, they end up doing it when November's over because you can't sustain that forever. And
Yeah.
like sex is healthy, masturbation is
Right.
healthy. So why are we creating
Pleasure.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasure, like you're saying basically, do not pleasure yourself. It's bad, right? So when you
Yeah.
make these connections, even in a month's time, it's like, yeah, what's your mindset going into it? Because if you go in believing that about sex and believing that about pleasure and masturbation, how do you think it's going to impact your sex life with a partner and like after November or,
Right.
like you can't like live like that forever. It's not a healthy mindset or practice. So,
I was wondering where that actually came from. I don't remember if I actually looked into that. Do you know anything about that? I wonder if it's like hooked to don't quote me on this, but like I wonder if it came out of like a religious, structure or not. I'm not
no.
sure.
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Yeah. But it's very like very rigid, very wild.
Very rigid. Yeah. Like on my videos, on my YouTube videos, I'll have some no fappers like no fap forever. No
I'll
fap.
get the broom out.
Oh
Get
God.
out of here.
Like, okay, leave. This is not the channel.
Dude. Yeah, this is not for you, and that's okay. I'm curious, I like talking to other, people like yourself, other professionals, and I get curious, like sometimes people can put us on this pedestal of like everything's perfect for us and we're just rock stars all the time. And I'm curious within the last year or so, is there something that you personally have been exploring or, just exploring for yourself in your own sex life? Of course, you don't need to share details, but what are some ways that you're expanding or getting curious or learning about yourself and your own eroticism and your own sexuality?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like all these things come to my head, but like, which one do I want to share?
That one.
Like that one, go.
The one that you don't want to say out loud. Go.
I mean, I will say that Andrew and my boyfriend and I just went to Europe. We had a long Europe vacation for the holidays,
I
and
saw that. Looks so
we
fun.
oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And we we started listening right before the vacation. We started listening to this podcast. We just came across and listened to one episode, but it was so cool and fun to listen to. It's called Vanilla Swingers,
Oh,
and you would love it.
I'm Googling it immediately.
It's this
Okay.
couple, they're so fun, and they tell their stories of how they started swinging, like, a year ago, but they've already been to, like, 100 sex clubs around the world, and they share
Oh,
their
wow.
experiences, and they rate each club, like, out of 5 stars and explain why, and they explain how to get in and what the experience is
That's
like.
fun.
So
Wow.
yeah, so we were like, "Okay, we have to go to this one in Paris, like, while we're in Paris, like, we gotta do it, we gotta, like,
Is that the
understand this."
first time that you 2 have gone to, like, a sex club?
We've been to 2 in New York when we lived in Manhattan, but they were not ideal. Like, we did not enjoy them.
I wonder which ones did you go to? Did you go to Hacienda?
No.
Okay. Maybe put that on your list. Okay,
Is
continue.
that in
So you're
Manhattan?
I think that's in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. We didn't
Yeah.
even look in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Um,
Alright.
no.
Okay, so you're in Europe and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
"Hey."
So we go to this club, um, and it was so nice, it was so classy. Les Chantels, I think it was, like the candles
Okay.
in French. I think it's Les Chantels. Um, but but yeah, like, everyone was super attractive, and the DJ was amazing, and there were, like, 6 different rooms. It was, like,
That's
chandeliers and
huge.
red and, like, sexy pictures on the wall, champagne and, like, food
Wo
and a full bar, and we were just yeah, so we had our first, like, real experience there in terms of, like, a swapping adventure. So that was like a new thing for us, right? Like in the other clubs, we just kind of did our own thing, like around
Uh-huh.
people.
Wow. How did you 2 do with that? I mean, again, sharing whatever makes sense to you, but like, swapping is from experience. It's like there's a lot of things that can come up and there's a lot of things that can be really fun about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, this could go like one of two ways. I feel like it's either going to be really great or really bad. But I was like, we went into it being like, okay, like our rule, um, we had a word for if someone asked us if they were interested, I would look at him and say the word, like like whisper the
That
word.
was a yes or no. What was your word?
Because even if I said what was my word? I think it was pineapple.
Classic.
Yeah,
That's everyone's word.
it wasn't something
Pineapple.
very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pineapple, and that was basically like, "I'm totally down, let's go, let's do it." And if I didn't say pineapple and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, maybe," he would know, like, we should move on and we should try to, like, get out of there.
Well, now, was it mostly women that were approaching you, or was it the couple together? Because I know that there's different ways of kind of navigating in those clubs.
Yeah, everyone seemed to be all couples in this club. There were probably like 50 couples. And yeah, I was approached. At first, no one was talking to each other for like the longest time. No one was dancing. It was kind of like everyone was just watching and like seeing what was going to happen first. We went and like
Uh-huh.
took a look around the back rooms and saw a girl giving a guy head like as soon as we got there. And we're like, okay, they're starting. We go back.
People are warming up.
Yeah. My boyfriend goes, oh, let's start the dance floor. Like, let's get it going. So we were the first ones to start, and then everybody got like came and joined. So that was fun. And then
Leaders go first, Stephanie.
right? Yeah.
Uh,
Of
awesome.
course, of course. And then for the longest time, probably like 2.5 hours, I was just so stuck in my work brain because I had been working we
Mm.
came off a really long, intense work week. I launched my app and, like, I just couldn't relax. I was just like, "Me, me, 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 me," like, when you're just kind of
Yep.
in a tense work mode and you're like, "I haven't transitioned yet."
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, but I was getting my period the next day, so we had to go that night. So I'm like, "Ugh, I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to get into it. I'm having a hard time, but I know I can get there. I believe I could get there." And Andrew kept going like, "Babe, we could just go. Let's just go explore Paris. We could just leave. This was fun. Let's just go." And and then finally, it wasn't until like 1:30 AM, I was waiting for Andrew sitting by the bathroom, and this couple starts talking to me. And they're asking me questions, and it just immediately, like, relaxed because 'cause I'm like, "Finally, we're engaging, and we're just hanging out. It's no stress." And they were like, "Oh, should we go watch people? Like, we'll go with you. Let's go watch people over there." So we're, like, walking around, and we're doing different things. And then, after, like that girl was, like, passing like, his girlfriend was falling asleep, like, it was so late, and she was like, "Okay, let's go home," so they left, and then I said to Andrew, I was like, "Why don't we just, like, go make out over here? Like, let's just go, like, do our own thing and, like, make out," and so we found this room with, like, a bed, and we just, like, were hanging out there by ourselves, and then this couple that had been, like, eye fucking us come over, and they're like, "Can we join you?" And they, like,
Awesome.
left the couple. But they were, like,
Wonderful.
we were both really attracted to them, so we're like, "Yeah."
Wow, you won the jackpot because, like, getting 4 people to all be interested sometimes takes a little time.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was just finding the
Amazing.
girls doing things,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was fun, and it was, like it was probably, like, 10 like, 20 minutes, like, most, 20 minutes max, but it was just, like I was so, like, fulfilled by it, basically, so, like, they were like, "Oh, let's do this now, let's go," and I was like, "I need to go."
I'm
I was
good.
like, "This is amazing, but I'm good."
Yeah.
I was like, "I need to go. I'm,
Yeah.
like, taking in too
What's
much."
what do you think, what do you and have yeah, what are you noticing that you get from going to those things like that? How do they feed your relationship or
Oh my god, I mean, we had we had sex, like, 3 times a day for, like, a week after that.
perfect.
Like, the most we've ever had, like, it was absurd. It was ridiculous.
Nothing like going to a sex club and then being like, "Oh, right."
Like, remember what we did? We just, like, attack each other.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, so it's like yeah, it's like not much has to happen to just keep you, like, really amped about the experience and talking about, "Oh, next time maybe this could happen," and,
Mhm.
"If this happened, how would we handle that?" And
Yeah.
it's just fun. I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
really fun.
So for other couples that may be interested in some version, rather of like just being witnessed, going witnessing others, maybe doing a swap, there's all kinds of things that are available, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you imagine or just from your experience that make that a more accessible, experience for people?
I think to start off, being watched is the easiest way to start. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just my preference, but I think if you make a rule with your partner to go and be like, "Hey, how about the boundaries for tonight or just we just do stuff ourselves." And even if there's attractive people and they ask us things, we just stick to our own thing. Like we could get excited about that or like but
Hmm.
but let's just stay together this time. And then, maybe next time you go in and you say, "Okay, let's stay together," but if, like, there's a partner we both are ready for and we both are, like, really excited, maybe we, like, give each other this look and then we, like, ask them, to do just this with us. And, like, have some
Hmm.
rules. I think the more rules you have I mean, you don't have too many rules because then that takes away from, like, the flow of things, but I think
Right.
for me, like, I know Andrew and I went in and I had, like, three things that I was like, "Definitely don't wanna do this." Um, "If this happens, let's do this." And then if, this happens, we leave, or this happens, we stay.
Yeah, it seems like a nice, slowly going into the water a little bit, especially if you're new at all this, can be really grounding and you can always add things later. And, oftentimes I hear horror stories of people jumping in the deep end and being like, oh shit, it's a little harder to backpedal on something that
Yeah,
was disturbing, right? Or something that, rattled you a little bit on one end or the other, but just
yeah.
slowly making a plan can make it really juicy and fun, and then you can kinda titrate into the experience versus like, "Hey, we're just gonna set these really high expectations and crash potentially."
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even, like, if you're new and, like, a little nervous, anxious about it or, excited, but, like, uncertain if you can handle it, like, just go and look around, like, plan to just go for an hour and just watch and serve. Yeah.
Fun. Fun, 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 and yeah, there's things that are happening in Austin, but I find, in other bigger cities, they're generally a lot sexier.
Yeah.
As far as the location anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Hacienda's pretty hot. Yeah, Top Floor is another one that I've heard really great things about, and, of course, there's, Cancun, which is kind of a neat thing, very couple-centric.
Awesome.
Cancun, it's, I'm trying to think, Desire. I went
Oh,
there for my 40th, and, I loved it because every day there was a new influx of people, and it was all couples, so it wasn't any single dudes, like
mm,
some of the other places, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's nice to meet other people.
Yeah.
and it feels a little bit more balanced. But there was lots of social things, and the food was spectacular, the rooms were sexy, and there was all of these activities. And yeah, you could kind of go in and decide at what level you want to play or just be in a sexy space where, clothing was optional. It was the only space on the beach where you could just be fully nude. It was pretty hot.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know what it is, what it's like nowadays, but when I went, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the one of the clubs we went to, I'm trying to think, forget the name, but one of the clubs in New York was mostly men. It was like
Oh, wow.
95% men, where it did get a little uncomfortable because if you wanted to, like, do something with someone, like, we were interested in, like, watching this couple and they invited us, like, they were like, "Hey, come downstairs and, like, just, like, watch us," or something, so we're like, "Okay." And we go downstairs and then like 30 guys see us go, and then they
Oh, wow.
follow, and they're all, like, trying to sit, like, crowd in the room, and then the couple was like, "Okay, no." Like, "This is too much."
No.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also the energy, right? Like, it's not that it's all men, but it's the energy that sometimes single guys, too many single guys can bring, which is this maybe
Hungry.
assertiveness or desperation. Yeah, yeah, like, very desperate energy, which isn't sexy, so it was kind of like, ugh, it's like a vibe killer
Mhm.
if you're
Mhm.
bringing that energy in.
Yeah, that's why I like some of the other events that teach kind of, they front load the evening with a little bit of like attunement and some really important things if you're at a party or if you're in a relationship, practicing
Mm,
really reading the room and being aware of your body and other people's bodies and boundaries. And, you don't just kind of move into a situation, like really
yeah,
being invited and using your words. And yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I had, like,
attunement
random
is
guys
huge.
touching me, and
Oh no.
I was like, "No, please don't do that." Like, I should
No, thank you.
"No, thanks, I didn't
Yeah.
say that."
So before we wrap up for the night, what would you say is some solid advice that you could give men who may be experiencing some of these things? Maybe their erections aren't lasting as long as they want, or maybe they're not as reliable, maybe they're feeling anxious. What are some tools that you personally use to support men with that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Ronin, Ronin is my app that helps men get into their bodies, relax their nervous system, but also build arousal from that place, from that
Mhm.
relaxed place, right? You
Yeah.
can't force arousal. You need to get in a habit of understand what relaxes you and then what gets you aroused in a way that feels really good for you, doesn't feel forced. And then, not being attached to the outcome, like really learn to enjoy the experience of sex. And I think to enjoy that experience means you don't look at successful sex as getting an erection. You look at successful sex as practicing the dirty talk you've been wanting to practice and try out, or trying that role play where you're more dominant and you do this thing to her, or making more sex jokes just regularly with your woman, and getting comfortable just like letting sex roll off the tongue and like topics and jokes and conversation. When you build this comfortable relationship with it and you see it as more than just an erection, then the pressure on the erection fades and your body
Yeah.
actually responds the way you want it to.
Mhm.
So there's a
Yeah, there's
lot
so
of
much focus. There's so much
yeah,
focus on like, "Oh my god, everything's gonna revolve around what my cock's doing," instead of like, "Wow, I really love watching, and I really love
yeah,
using my words, and I really love playing." Yeah, expanding the possibilities and giving
yeah.
ideas to people. I'm wondering about your sex jokes. You were like, you said sex jokes. I wanna double tap on that. Tell me a se
No, it's funny because my clients actually say this to me. Like, I had 2 clients last week that said actually 3 clients, that's funny. 3 clients last week that told me they're making more, like, jokes regularly about sex.
like,
Like,
just
one
being
guy
lighter in
just
general
being
in an
lighter.
erotic moment? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, being lighter, like, one of my clients, yesterday told me that, like, he was with his girlfriend, then he was like, "Oh, look, it looks like a pair of balls and, like, and a penis," and, like, they were both laughing because and she's like, "Ah, stop it," like so he's just,
That's
like
cute.
he's more comfortable. He's more my other client was like, "I'm actually, like, talking to my buddy, like, one of my best friends about sex now," and he's so secure too, so he's like, "Oh, dude, give me the like, how's it going? Like, what happened?" And so he's like, "I finally have like one of my friends who I'm open to about this, and it's fun to like talk about it and share about it and laugh about like the things that didn't work or like
Right.
didn't go great." So they're actually able to laugh about the things that were awkward or the things that were
Mhm.
great, and yeah, just let sex be more of a like roll off the tongue type of topic instead of
Mhm.
holding it in and feeling like, you shouldn't say it, or I'm not sure if I should say it. And like, should I ask her
Mhm.
this? Or like, what's she going to think if I say this? I shouldn't say, there's so much overthinking when it comes to
There's
sex.
so much, yeah, like inner dialogue could just
Yeah.
you could just swirl up and be swallowed there. Like, and it's
Yeah.
nice that you're teaching people how to just relax and be more joyful and, have fun. It doesn't have to be serious.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this
Exactly.
really tense thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one tip that helps a lot of guys, for, like, being in the moment if they're in their heads, because usually they're like, "What if this happens?" Or, "What if I can't get hard? What if I don't stay hard? Am I still hard?" Right? Like, those are the thoughts going on
Yeah.
while they're
Yep.
having sex, which is
Yep.
supposed to be pleasurable. So so to help them get back in the moment, I say, try to replace, like, whenever those thoughts come in your head, try to replace it with, what's the sexiest thing to me right now? Like, what feels best right now? Like, what do I want to do to her right now? And like, questions that like put you back in the place of like where you should be, which is pleasure, instead of thinking about what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And I talked to a client yesterday, and he's like, "Well, when it goes right, I don't have any thoughts in my head. Like, there's just no thoughts." And I was like, "No, there actually are thoughts. They're going with pleasure. Like, you're
Yeah.
probably thinking like, 'Oh god, she's so fucking hot.' Like, 'Oh, look at this ass.'" Right? Like, you have thoughts. It's just they're working
Right.
for you. So
Yeah.
let's go back to those thoughts that have worked for you.
Yeah, and bringing people into the moment. I like that of yeah, it's not just blank or you don't wanna be thinking about, like, "Let's wait until this cock is harder,"
Yeah.
but really, like, focusing again on what's happening in real time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, so Stephanie, how do people find you?
People can find me on
Mm.
my website, stephanieganowski.com. My podcast is What I Love About Sex, and I'm Stephanie Ganowski on social media. So I have a YouTube, Instagram, all that jazz.
Awesome. So we'll put all that in the show notes. Stephanie, it's so good to see you.
Oh, you too,
And
Melissa.
yeah, I'm so glad you hopped on here.
Me too. I love your questions. You dove a little deeper than most people do. So
Really? And here's me just like
super
flying
grateful.
by the seat of my pants,
Yeah, it was great.
being in the moment.
I love it. I love it. It's so you.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you. Let's do pool swim soon. And
Well,
I'm wishing you all the success with your new app that came out. That's badass.
thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Bye.